Hello and welcome to Fully Charged Europe, episode 7 for some reason. You're joining me, CommanderX, John on the stream. Kaidus is here. We've got special guests Permzilla and Sonny Black from the ETF2L admin team. Admirable was currently missing in action. He's got to deal with some IRL stuff, but he's going to hop in whenever that's out with. Basically, he's going to come back, sort all that out, and just hop in. We're going to start. Got a few things planned. We've got the ETF2 award winners to be announced, so everyone will get to claim their e-glory. Then we're going to talk about the upcoming Season 18, the rule changes, unlocks and stuff, all that. We're going to talk about a map ball, all that sort of thing, general thing. Then we're just going to grill Permzilla for a bit. There was a thread up on ETF2L asking him questions. So ask him some of those questions, get them involved, put Permzilla on the spot. Then we're going to do some team gossip. Quite a few things have happened since last week. Several folds, people moving around, trials, etc, etc. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I guess we should go straight into the awards. Which award do we want first? Anyone have a big preference on which award we should do first? Pyro.
Do off-class because it's the one no one gives a crap about.
What about Prem Debut? It's a really tight between who cares the least about which award.
Nah.
No? We're going off class, so.
I don't know.
Just go back to eating your prawn crackers, it'll be okay. Guys.
I will. Maintain the stream.
Okay, Sonny Black, tell me off class for the season. Remind me of the nominees, and then tell me who won. And a percentage if you have it to hand.
The nominees have been, or are, GF18, The Mool, and Zen.
Oh, it's a Sonny Black. Oh god, is this your first day?
Off-classers are Flippy, Samzy, and Drake then. Thought I heard debut.
Just ignore what I say and listen to the advice. Tell me who won, Sonny Black.
Flippy won with 54%.
What a shocker,
Shocking.
ladies and gentlemen.
Shocking.
Can't believe it.
Who saw that? I don't think any of us could have predicted that.
I honestly thought Sam might nick it just because he went big in the final, but that was hopeful at least.
You say you got 54%. Was Sam second place, Sonny B?
No, Drake was second place with 28, and Sam with third with 17%.
Big 17%.
Can I just... Maybe someone has... I don't know if we still have the stats to hand, but in terms of the potential winners, did they get voted for in the order of how much they are off-classed by any chance? Because it sounds like that was the pattern to me. No? No comment? Am I still here?
No, just nothing.
I don't think I've ever been met with subject silence. I'll assume what I said was really dull and we can just move on then.
Yeah, let's do it. Honestly, I was reading a text, but I'm sure whatever you said was insightful and full of wisdom. And probably correct.
I said pretty much whoever snipes the most, no matter how good or bad they do, wins. And the vote go in that order. Like I imagine Flippy sniped the most, then Rake the second most after him, and then Sam the least, and that's how the votes went.
I think off-classer has a lot to do with reputation as well, you know? Like, remember that year JH won it, despite playing Sniper like twice for like a total like 10 minutes? Everyone just knows JH is the best, so he gets it anyway. Yeah,
I mean, Flippy is the best sniper, there's no doubt about it, but I think there was a lot said for just doing a lot of off-classing when it like separates you from the competition.
Oh well. Well, congratulations to Flippy. I'm sure his family's watching at home and is currently rejoicing. So let's go to Prem debut since Sonny Black was so keen to get that one out.
The Prem debuts nominees are GF18, The Wool, and Zen, as I said. And GF18 won.
No shocker, yeah.
With 49%.
Comfortable?
Yeah, it's the right decision as well.
I'd agree with that. GF18 is a pretty big gamer. I think we should... Is it time to move on to the class ones? The class-based awards? We've covered all the kind of like less direct ones. So, does anyone where do we want to go first? Scout, soldier, demo, medic? Anyone?
Let's leave Scout to the end because it's
yeah, Scout is a very close one.
Oh, okay.
Go for demo.
Okay, talk me through it, Sonny B.
The nominees are his, kaidus, and Exxon, and the winner is kaidus with 68%.
Congratulations, buddy! 68%. You did
Wahoo.
it, kaidus.
All my dreams have been realised this day.
Is this back-to-back Demo Man titles?
It might be, I don't remember, but I just want to give a quick thanks to my mum and to Bash, Santa Claus, and that's it.
A great speech as always.
Oh God, where's admirable?
Yeah, I'd say well deserved. It's always pretty easy to win things when your team wins the season. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. Perm, are you a massive Hiss fanboy? Do you feel Hiss was robbed?
Not particularly. Like, I think he should have got a few more votes, like more than 20%, but I think kaidus deserved it at the end of the day.
Well done, buddy. You're officially the best in Europe at what you do. Let's go. You say to do Scout last. Let's go to Medic. And if F2 wins Medic, I'm going to be severely disappointed in the community. Sonny Black, please don't make me severely disappointed.
No. The Medic nominees are Merlin, Bull, Bite, and F2. And Merlin won with 54%.
Guys, make a quick point here. Miralyn actually voted for himself, and it was something that upset by quite a great quantity. So I think this award should just be ruled out because Miralyn rigged it.
Miralyn rigged it.
I'm pretty sure if Miralyn hadn't voted for himself, the results could have been quite different.
How many accounts does Miralyn have? Yeah, again, not a lot of surprise there. Not a lot. Like, Miralyn played sick in the final. Finals are always in people's heads. Big shout out to John. I've got the stream open in the background, and he wrote topic Demo Man winner Hiss. Excellent work, John. Keep it up. Try and get this one right. Okay. I'm waiting to see if John can type it right. Attention builds. Merlin, you got it right. You got it right. Good work, John. Let's move on to Soldier then. Remind me of the nominees, Sonny Black.
Which one?
Soldier.
It's done Pocket and Roma.
Pocket and Roma. Oh, let's do Roma first.
The Roma nominees are Gear, T-Mac, and Kaho. And Gear won with 53%.
Another shocking result, as it turns out the best team of the season had the best Roma and Demo Man of the season. Shocking. Anyone got anything to dispute that? Feel anyone was robbed?
Who was the other nominees?
T-Mac and Cowho.
Seems fair dues. T-Mac made more... Hang on. Sorry, my cat's in the way! T-Mac made more pretty shots and stuff. But Gear's the beast, he's the beast. I'm saying best with a weird accent to confuse you.
I'm sure everyone was thoroughly confused. Okay, let's do the other half of it. So, MIG had the best Roman this season. Did they have the best pocket, Sonny Black?
Yes.
Spoilers! You're supposed to do the nominee. Sonny Black.
The nominees have been Mike, Nox, Tech, and Zabuzai, and Mike won with % over Nox with 31%.
That's pretty close. That's kind of surprising. They're both on the same team next season, so that'll be an interesting season next season.
And neither are on Pocket as well.
They're both. One of them is. What are you on about, Perm? You're crazy. We'll come to that later. We'll talk about team stuff later. So what's left then? Scout. We've covered all the other three. It's just Scout left, and you said Scout was really close. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me who the nominees were. Refresh everyone's minds.
Nominees are Kyla, Sam, and Bash. And third place is Kyla with 32%. Second place is Bash with 34%. And first place is Sam with 35%.
You did it, lad!
Wow.
I always believed.
Sam's the officially best scout in Europe. Anyone to dispute that? I'm sure kaidus seems happy.
I think it's fair enough overall. I think it was a pretty close one, to be honest. Kind of surprised Bash didn't win it, just because, like, It's not very often like a true like pocket scout or like really passive scout wins these things, because there's really like not very flashy stuff most of the time. So it's kind of surprising in a way. I think he deserves it, but I'm surprised that the voters actually realised it.
Congratulations to Samsy then. I think is the only one left the overall best player.
It's best player and caster left.
Caster.
Wait, who won pocket?
Mike.
Ah, that's a surprising one. Sorry, I missed it.
So I think Made in Germany out of the class awards won what? 3 out of 4? 4 out of 5? Pocket.
Can we just
Roma,
remind ourselves which class didn't win an award
Scout.
for us?
Medic.
Oh. I'm glad I'm not on team anymore. I can go back to slating him at every opportunity.
Yeah. So let's move on. Let's do caster first, because I think maybe best player holds a little bit more, higher regard than best caster. Remind us of all the nominees.
The nominees are Admirable, WARHURYEAH, CommanderX, Getaway, WARHURYEAH, Ips and His. And Admirable won with 51%.
51? Where was I?
You are at 8%.
Why does that make me finish like
4th?
4th? Solid 4th place? Same place I finished in Div 1? That's consistency.
If it makes you feel any better, I didn't vote for you.
Brilliant.
Also,
thank
who's
you.
that in my webcam? I'm seeing CX's chest in my webcam. I was like, that's definitely not the t-shirt that I'm wearing. Oh god. I was gonna say, I was like, I don't remember putting on that t-shirt. What's going on?
I also don't remember you looking a lot like my chest, Kaidus.
I am back, sorry.
Okay, Perm, you need to mute yourself in the chat thing, and I'm sure order will be restored to the stream soon enough. So Admirable won the caster. Who was? So I was 4th. Who was 2nd and 3rd?
2nd was War, and 3rd is Ips.
Ips? Fuck that guy. What a scrub. Okay.
If it makes you feel any better, CX, I also didn't vote for you.
You've already told me that once. Thanks for reminding me, Kaidus.
But did I already say that?
Yeah. Why don't we just do a poll of who didn't vote for me?
Okay.
I hate you. I thought we were best friends. No comment. Fair enough. Whatever.
Seems not.
John had to PM me there and tell me he didn't vote for me either. Thanks for the moral boost,
Yeah,
guys.
I didn't either as well.
Sonny back, I'm on your team. Please tell me you voted for me.
No.
What? How did I even get 4th place? No one voted for me.
The team's dead.
I tried to
I think I voted for Getaway.
You voted for... Oh, what? There was a point when I was trying to convince my girlfriend to log in using her Steam account to ETF2L to vote for me, and she never bothered.
Would have changed much.
Sums it up.
I knew I should have voted myself. I voted for that war guy. What a mistake. Anyway, let's. Forsaken voted for me. That was my one vote. Okay, let's move on before I get any more bitter. Let's go to Player of the Season.
The nominees are Nox, Mike, and Tech. And Nox won with 42% over Mike with 37%.
So what you're telling me is Mike's the best pocket soldier, better than Nox, but Nox is the best player in the season.
Apparently.
Yeah. We had this discussion last time where like Nox was my MVP of the season, but not my player of the season. I think it's one of those awards that should be split into 2 with like clear like definitions given. Because that doesn't make any sense to me, really.
I know what you mean, I understand. I kind of like, it's nice that Nox won something since he made such a difference to the team, whereas Mike just kind of turned up and did his job. Shot things, got some air shots, killed some people. It was nice that Nox, I guess he's at least recognised in some way, whether it makes a whole lot of sense or not. No? Agreed? Not agreed?
Yeah, I agree with you, but
yeah.
I still think the award should split into 2 to avoid this confusion in the future.
So like a best overall player and like a MVP, isn't that what it's been called in the past?
No, last time we had MVP and best player, and no one even knew the difference between MVP and player.
Or would it be that hard to just write a quick sentence underneath each award, defining it? Like, vote for the player you think made the most difference to his team, and then vote for the player who you think performed best this season under each one. No? Only me?
I think
Stop
that
with
makes sense,
with
yeah.
your ridiculous request, Kaidus. This is completely out of anyone's control.
I don't know. I always thought maybe you could just like, once you have all the classes of the season, have them go into their own little pool of votes and that be the player of the season. But then it requires more voting and more time. Probably more effort than it's worth overall. Never mind.
Okay, so that's the end of the awards. So we're going to move forward now. Whoop, let me find the schedule. Okay, so we're going to talk about the rules and the updates that have happened in ETF2L. So you probably should open the news page before I started this sentence. So I'm going to hope my ETF2L can load. But basically, remind me of the dates, Sonny B, of the new season.
The what? The dates?
The dates, you know, like...
The schedule.
I've got them up now. The schedule, yeah.
The signups have opened 4 days ago. And week 1 will be starting...
Hold on, I've got the dates. Schedule week 1.
Week 1 starting May the 11th.
Yeah, May the 11th, with a schedule a week before that. So, at one point we had that we wanted to discuss was how close the season was to the previous season, and also the overlap into the exam schedule. Do you want to expand on that decision, flesh it out a bit?
Well, you can't have the season go on too much into summer, because we had an AFS season a while back, but like that was a one-off. It's not normal for it to go into summer too much. So at the moment it finishes July the 26th. So if you delay it by a couple of weeks, it's already into like mid-August, and that's like the middle of summer for people to be playing all summer. Really, that's the main reason.
Okay. I know, for example, though, I think is it Insomniacs who are taking a season out due to the clash in exam with their exams. Do you think moving it this far forward is going to affect that? Do you think like you're going to see a lot, like maybe not a lot less sign-ups, but reduced sign-ups?
Not really. Like even if you push it back a couple of weeks, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. Like people's exams are going to clash with it. I think that's just pretty much guaranteed. I think most people just learn to like deal with it and play games and exams at the same time. Like it's not actually that hard to do if you plan.
There you go. Permzilla says just plan your life better, nerds.
Yeah.
Okay, so you normally have opinion on things.
Yeah, it's started too early for my taste. The exam thing you're never ever going to avoid, no matter when you put a season. So I don't think it even plays a factor. Like some people aren't going to be able to play or going to have to like just show up for matches and things like that. So I don't think it's even something worth factoring in. As for going too long into summer, like I don't know. I live in England, so like. What was it, July 12th? Summer's like over for us by then, so I don't know about that really. Like, if people want to play in summer, they should be able to play in summer. Like I don't know, I guess like I'm thinking the Prem perspective, there really wasn't enough time really to comfortably take a little break after playoffs and then, you know, teams fold, teams reform. There wasn't really time for that. And if you think that like the season's kind of crucial because like the biggest event in the TF2 calendar kind of operates off the back of this season, like teams form for this season, and any team in Prem will at least think about attending I-52. So it's kind of sucks that you have to like kind of rush into things this season. I don't know if the Nations Cup plays a factor, like if you want to squeeze like a Nations Cup in somewhere, but if that was a factor, I feel like the Nations Cup occurred too often. Like between Nations Cup 1 and Nations Cup 2, there was like 2 or 3 years. I think it was probably slightly too long, but I think like having 2 Nations Cup every summer is too much really. So I don't think it should impact the regular season.
It didn't really impact it at all.
No? When does a Nations Cup start?
Like we only have a really rough schedule for the Nations Cup so far, but even then it would like at most be split. So like group stage before I-52 and playoffs after I-52 or something.
Fair enough then. Even still, I don't see like, I think 1 or 2 weeks delay would have made a huge difference. Like for people that want to play, like I don't know, for people that want to play the season, 1 or 2 weeks would have made a big difference and like made it a lot easier. And for people that don't want to play and like really going to be that put off by going an extra week into summer, like I'm not really sure that for this kind of casual competitive scene that we have, I'm not really sure if catering to the people that don't really want to play is the way to go. But however, it's all good in the end, I guess.
I guess the biggest thing, like you said, is just the turnaround kind of time for like making new teams, forming new teams. Like you kind of had to really be on top of it from like when the grand final ended or the even regular season ended. You kind of really had to be planning your new team before all of that was over.
For anyone in the grand finals, like it was like play grand finals, take 1 week break, and then you have 1 week to make a new team. Pretty much, anyway. Like most people really would want a longer break than 1 week anyway, and when you only have 1 week break and then you only have 1 week to actually sort everything out, like 1 week plus like a couple days into next week, so I have to close like Wednesday night or something, I don't even know. But like you have pretty much 1 week to sort everything out.
You have to remember that this only sort of affects the like top 3 teams or top 4 teams in Prem, and like most of the teams that actually play have like the 3 weeks of playoffs to get ready for the new season as well. So it does, like, I understand it affects the top teams that they have less time to prepare and stuff, but it is a small minority at the end of the day.
Yeah, I guess so. And stop me if I'm maybe going into another topic that's going to come up later, but doesn't that maybe lend like something to the argument that playoffs should be kind of restructured so they don't take that long?
Leaning into a question that's going to come up later.
Yeah, okay. We can talk about that later then.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of a difficult one to call because like I think the thing that kind of changes this season from other seasons on the turnaround is just I-52 being a factor, and a lot of players are not just looking for a team for the new season, but looking for a team with land potential, and that takes a little bit more organising or maybe a bit more searching than just your usual turn up, find 5 other gamers and go game some games for a few weeks. But it's done now, the sign-ups are open. How are sign-ups looking so far? Do you have a rough number of teams that are already signed up?
I think we have around 170 teams right now.
Okay. How does that compare to like last season, like total?
Total was 300 last season, but
okay, it's still quite early on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's normal for lots of teams to sign up in the last couple of days. Teams like aren't ready yet; they're still forming the roster, making the page, that sort of thing. So I think it's about normal right now.
Got to make sure you get that page looking perfect before you enter ETF2L.
Yep.
There's always a big rush in the first 2 days, and then there's like 10 to 15 sign-ups every day, and in the last 2 days then there's again people are realizing that the season is happening. It's starting.
Yeah, that's how Superstars Only was made, right, Sonny B? I noticed the season was starting, I should probably have a team, so we threw it together in a week, and that worked out perfectly. So that covers, I guess, starting. You know, I guess it's probably the best that could be done in such a situation with other timings going on. The next thing is unlocks have been changed this season. Yes, more unlocks are allowed. Nothing additional has been banned, as far as I'm aware.
Nope.
Right? Just more things are allowed.
Just new stuff, yeah.
I can't find the list on the ETF2L news post. But as far as I remember, there was nothing game breaking, nothing that's really going to change a lot. They're all quite situational ones. Yes?
Yeah, that's the idea, yeah.
Now, stuff's added, but nothing that's going to change the way the game is played, really. Just the very occasional one-on-one. Is it alright if a cloak and dagger was allowed, yeah?
Yep. Do you need the link to do you want the list?
Yeah, hook me up with a list. Yeah,
if you just okay, wait. I don't have you on Steam, so I can't actually give it to you. It's kind of awkward.
IRC, we have a PM open. Jeez. Yeah, but I want to talk about the cloak and dagger because that one's allowed, right? And I saw a forum thread, or a lot of ETFL comments or something bashing cloak and dagger. So, kaidus, you're a fan of cloak and dagger. Defend your weapon.
I don't know. I guess I watch ESCA, like not so much lately, but in the past, and I always watch these spies working with cloak and dagger, and it just seems to make the class like. I mean, spy is like way more than all other classes. It's so nerfed by competitive play. Like it clearly wasn't designed with like the idea of 6 people being on Mumble and in constant communication with each other, it clearly wasn't designed with that in mind. So I think the Cloak and Dagger just makes it a way more like legit class to actually use in some situations. Like it's not just this class that you select and you go for like a glory stab or you die. Like you can actually, with the Cloak and Dagger, when there's 6 people like alert for this sort of thing and all in communication, you can actually use it and, you know, bide your time and actually try and go for like an established like bit of team play to get a spy pick rather than just, you know, just going for a YOLO basically. Like some people say it makes it too easy, but I don't think it really makes it that much easier. It just makes it like, you know,
like the noise of uncloaking is still the same, isn't it? Like,
yeah, like
it's
all the same stuff. I think the main complaint people have is about back caps, but like I don't really understand that because like most people leave a player on last anyway. Like most teams leave something on last for this back cap, and in general, it's like pretty obvious. Like to me, at least, it's pretty obvious when a team might use a spy to backing. Like if you're tracking the spawns, like before they do a last push, like say they do a last push and you see like there's a scout missing, so you think, okay, I haven't seen the scout for this entire duration of this push, so maybe there's a spy. Or if they got an early spawn, like one guy was dead and they pushed for 5 and then maybe lose 4 and one guy was respawning while that push was going on, then you know you have to leave a guy on last for like the back cap. So I don't really see why it's any more problem for back caps than anything else was. Like if you can't notice that there's a player completely missing, then you deserve to get back capped.
I think it's easier if you're a bit more organised, like sort of primitive one, have it a little bit easier, but I think if you're in like new to the game or something, you're less organised and you might not notice that, but I don't think it'll be that much of a problem.
If you're that disorganised, you're not going to stop back caps anyway. Like, it's just
true.
It's just another, like, it's like, you know, I can't think of the expression, it's like, you know, you're going to get back caps 1,000 ways, what difference does one more make in that regard?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, if the load of teams will probably get back capped more anyway, a slightly different way. Maybe a little bit more frustrating, but you know, there's plenty of times like we pushed out of last and we thought we've had covered all the angles, and then we just see 1 times on the cap and it's a spy. And again, like we're not mad that it's a spy. We're just like, oh, we're fucking dumb. We just dropped around. It's not really about the spy itself. I don't know. But
yeah, like if a spy can back up, unless he does some like crazy like hits 4 revolvers in a row, it's your fault. Like you have everything you need to stop it from happening.
You have knowledge from spawn times and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know. I don't think it'll make much difference, to be honest. I think it will just make like
a few people really mad.
Yeah, I like it because when it works, when like you see a spy play a really slow game and just try and go for like a really patient pick, it's so good when it comes off, like to watch, and it's just like a really nice thing to see happen. And the negatives of it just seem like inconsequential, really.
So if you're having problems with spy back caps, our advice is get good.
Solid.
So just get good, and it'll probably happen less to you. So yeah, I don't think the unlocks are going to cause too many. Like I think Cloak and Dagger was the one that caused the most drama or backlash. Really, nothing else in this list I've been PM really stand out as. Mainly as anything I recognise what it does, but also nothing else really stands out. What's for Son of a Stick, for Scout Melee, where you get a crit on a player if they're on fire? That's more useful than building Uber.
It's a bit of a game changer, to be honest.
Yeah, I also looked at the stats. It does 80 damage as a crit, which is not a lot more than an actual melee anyway. Except you have to be on fire for it to get the crit damage anyway. So, Son on a Stick, a bunch of other stuff that's not really gonna change anything.
Yeah, like most of this stuff is like, you know, like the Razorback for when you have a sniper countering the enemy spy. Like it's just not, it's like never gonna be like a thing. Like once a season, it's gonna come into play. I'm
sure there'll be some frag clip threads where someone goes on like a 5 kill streak because everyone's on fire and they've got the Son of Stick out or something like that. I can't wait for that. But other than that, I don't think anything's really going to change from the unlocks. The big thing, I guess, now a lot of people have been talking about is the removal of Metalworks. No one really had too many complaints about. It was like quite a slow map, all that. But you brought back Turbine, so bringing back the capture the flag game mode as well, as opposed to anything new. Do you want to again just talk through that decision? How does the decision for map making work? Is it like a admin vote? Is there like a straw poll somewhere?
I guess Sonny is in a better position to talk about this.
I'm basically getting feedback from everyone in Prem, or everyone that answers me in Prem. And usually I'm only generally asking about maps and unlocks. And Metalworks was often named to be removed. So we thought about what other maps you could bring in. And since Turbine was named a couple of times, I asked again if Turbine was a viable option from the Prem side. And the feedback was pretty positive. Like over 50%. Like
in favour of
even
Turbine.
more. Like
Yeah, more than
60-70%.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty big. Wars just hit me with a question he wants to ask. He wants why, like, do you know when, like, for example, the NA scene he mentions always are like quite happy to throw a new map in, like Sunshine. I think is the one they've thrown in this season, and in past, you know, they've done lots of other things like that. Like they played Viaduct long before we ever did stuff like that. Does it factor into it when, you know, about going back to an old map rather than a new map? Does that factor into it, or is it purely just based on whatever's the most popular choice among the people you talk to?
Well, I think like EU as a whole is less receptive to like changes in new maps and new unlocks, whereas NA they just sort of seem to like they'll mix on new maps and do that sort of thing. Whereas in EU, I don't really see many people doing that, and I think that's like one of the main reasons. Like I've actually played Sunshine and it was okay, but it was sort of just left at that, and no one actually went any further and like tested it, kept testing it, and actually to see if it was any good.
I guess a point to bring up, since War brought up the NA scene, is also the NA scene do one map per week in their rotation. So if you are trying out a brand new map, for that 1 week, everyone's playing that one new map, whereas in ETF2L, like when new maps are introduced, what you'll see is like no one will bother playing it until it comes up in week 5. And then people will only have like 3 PCWs on it before they go live in it, and you tend not to see as much refined gameplay as like an NA team who have just played CP Sunshine non-stop for a week.
That's
I
like
know,
with
maybe that's an influence. Yeah.
now that's like with every map you bring in. Like even if you would have brought Sunshine in or whatever, people would replay it because it's new and everyone was hyped for Sunshine or whatever. But people wouldn't play it until it came up in the week where it's supposed to be played, and after that it wouldn't be played anymore again. It's always with the new maps. It always has been like that. So,
do you think it's going to survive? Because I got asked on my stream today if what I thought of Turbine, and I was like, I like it as a map. I'm happy to play it. I think it'll be entertaining. It'll be a new game mode, all that. But I genuinely don't believe it's going to last more than a season. Do you think this is like a long-term change? Is it going to become like a set map, or is it just going to become one season, then we'll swap out to something else again?
We'll see how the feedback is after the season. Like there's always one map, or there's always like maps that are always staying, and one map is always going, and then another one is coming in. Maybe like, Turbine's staying, and Granary will go out. Who knows?
Thing is, I don't think Turbine was ever removed because Prem players didn't like it. It was removed because in those days it was done by like a public poll, if I'm not mistaken anyway. And like Prem players always liked the map. Like as long as you maintain the consistency in its approach to like using Prem feedback to spice up the map pool, I don't think Turbine's going to go anywhere unless a really good map comes up that justifies replacing it. I don't think anyone's going to suddenly turn on Turbine and think it's crap after one season. The only thing that will maybe remove it is again if like div like I don't know 3 to 6 like overwhelmingly like hate it and you know make a shitstorm over it basically, because I think the Prem players always wanted it. And if we had this approach to changing maps where Sonny Black asked Prem players, if we had that like 4 seasons, 5 seasons ago, whenever, or even more than that, like 6 seasons ago, whenever we had Turbine, I don't think it would have got removed then either. So
I even looked up the poll from season 10. Like in season 9 it was played. In season 9 it was played the last time, and for season 10 there was a public poll, and we had 6 maps I think in, and Turbine was the 7th map with like 100 votes behind, with a total of like 1,500 votes or something. So even then, it wasn't that unpopular.
It's a good map, and like, I don't necessarily like going back to old maps that have kind of been rejected, even if it is rejected by like kind of the lower divs, for lack of a more politically correct word. But there is nothing like people talk about Sunshine. It's shit. It's just not very good.
War mentioned Gravel Pit in his his notes. Any opinions on Gravel Pit? Or maybe Coal Plant's another one an AF played. Coal Plant looks quite interesting.
Coal Plant's crap. Like for me at least, I would have been happy with Gravel Pit or Turbine in this season. Definitely wanted rid of Metalworks and something just to freshen it up a bit. But I honestly don't think there was a new map that hasn't been played before that was worth even looking at. Like Sunshine is just not very good. And
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Like we needed something new, and Gravel Pit or Turbine either would have been fine.
A new game mode helps as well. Helps keep things fresh and different. Like whether it be Gravel Pit or Turbine, you have to kind of adapt. The strategies are quite unique. Like the same way in Viaduct, your strategies are more unique to the map, rather than just playing 5CP all season long.
Yeah, I think I prefer Turbine because it doesn't have this like random factor. Like I think Gravel Pit could be a legitimately great map if you could somehow, I don't know if it's even possible just with CVARs to make it like half each round time and then have a best of 5 rather than a best of 3.
And then okay.
I don't know if that would even be possible with CVARs or if it would actually require like the map to be edited. I don't know if that's defined by the map or by a server command. But I think as long as it's best of 3, it's just too random. The results come in like really weirdly. Like I think Gravel Pit's a great map. I just think best of 3 is a really dodgy format.
Opens it up to too many unjust results.
I mean, you could argue that Turbine's best of 3, but it's best of 3 first to 5, so you have to do something 5 times to win a round, whereas on Gravel Pit, you really only have to do one thing right to win a round.
Twice, yeah, you have to do 2 things right in the course of a round.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just one thing and then following through and not making a stupid mistake. Like if you wipe on B and you can push into C before they spawn and that sort of thing, it's kind of, in theory, you take both points off of one mistake of the enemy team. Which I think it's fine, like it's fine to win a round like that, but when only 2 rounds wins you the game, it's a bit stupid. Like if there was a way to rework it so it was best of 5, that would be a sick map, but Turbine's probably the better choice otherwise.
So in conclusion, what I think we're saying is we're all happy with the choice.
I'm happy, but
I'm happy.
I know there's going to be a lot of like upset, like lower div players, because it can be a complete ball ache. Like I think the higher up you go in the divisions, the better you get at like pushing,
adapting.
Yeah, like adapting and pushing like Uber v Uber. Like you just know like you're better at spotting the mistakes. There's just random shit going on. Like in like Div 4 or something, if you make a push and it fails, you probably have no idea why it failed because 4 players on your team were doing their own thing and just trying to YOLO it. Whereas in Prem, it's probably obvious that like it didn't work because you popped too early or because you pushed from the wrong place or your players got weak and took too much damage on the flank. Like Prem players and Div 1 players, to an extent Div 2 players can identify this and then rework their push, and the lower Div players can't, and because it's all the same push for like the whole map, there's only 2 pushes.
Then kind of blame the map. Really.
Yeah, they're just going to slam their heads against a brick wall for 30 minutes and then not know what to do differently, and then they're going to hate the map. And it's justified, to be fair. Like, if you can't work it out, it would make a really awful game experience. But it's not the map, basically.
Maybe we should make some cool for content, some explanation or like some demo reviews of Turbine. Yeah, someone set something up just to maybe even at least explain some of the things, maybe some demo reviews or something like that. Just to explain it a little bit more.
Playing the map would help. Like, I read people saying, "Oh, it's just going to be another map. No one's going to play, and then it'll be out the season." If you actually play it, you might enjoy it, and you'll be able to like be more comfortable, and you'll start winning, and you'll enjoy it more, and you might even like it.
If you are on one of these lower divs, and no one else is practicing it, but you practice it really hard, you've just got yourself like 6 points free, really, if you're the only one trying.
Well, 3 points, but you played twice, didn't you? Yeah.
I'm just going to point out that Cloak and Dagger's in now, so you can just leave a spy cloaked in the intel room the whole game. Right?
Yeah, that's going to help you win.
That's you mean by making one of your players a spectator?
Yeah, probably Daniel Craig.
It's a legit strat. Like if you're pinned in your intel room, you just send a. Well, you don't even need Cloak and Dagger to be fair. You send a spy to their intel room, and then when they push,
you just inch it forward.
Yeah, you just get a spy to bring it around. It's a strat, man. It's like a classic strat. With Cloak and Dagger, it becomes no more easy or no more hard. I don't even know why I brought it up.
You just wanted to mention Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, War says he's going to write a blog, so rest assured. Wars blog at WARHURYEAH.com will be all over that, full of information, strategy, and other things. So according to the schedule now, it's basically Permzilla interview time. What? I feel like I have to ask this question because it's the only question that's been asked in chat for the last 20 minutes. At Permzilla, how do you manage to make regular league admins and Highlander admins believe that their word on certain cases has any value? Is this related to something, or is this just general trolling?
I think it's general trolling. I don't know why people... if anyone knows what happens inside the admin team, like, it's just the admin, so they're just talking rubbish. I
like how everyone thinks Permzilla has any input as well. It's all Sonny Black pulling the
Yeah,
strings
I do
anyway.
nothing. I'm like a hate cushion. Everyone just hates me.
Sonny Black can get on with whatever he wants to do. Okay, so I'm going to go onto this thread right now and look through the questions and see if any of them are worth asking. Bum bum bum. There's a few questions that we've already covered, sort of why wasn't Gravel Pit re-added instead of Turbine?
So prepared.
Bum bum bum. When is the new ETF2L design coming out? And that's already been released, hasn't it? Or does he mean there's a banner? Released?
No, I think they mean the website, which is, it's still in works, it's just slowed down recently. We were hoping to get like a beta out, public beta, like a week or two back, but it's slowed down a bit, so probably, hopefully another couple of weeks and we'll have a beta out and then it'll be all happening.
Okay, Tober asks, is the map pool in Highlander and 6 is going to be the same every season? I presume we've covered that. I think it's pretty obvious.
You're
open to new
question
suggestions.
to me.
Yeah.
It's been the same like one season in a row. What kind of a question is that? It changes like all the time.
Okay, there's another question. Yeah, there's another question about, did you choose the unlocks yourself? Or, but we already covered that. Prem were asked, your opinions are... Man, we were too good at reviewing the Season 18 question.
Me and Permzilla had a pretty long discussion, to be fair, and he told me that he forced the admins to add the home wrecker. He wouldn't take no for an answer and just insisted that.
I love Pyro too much.
Okay, here's a question that sounds like an actual question. How do you see ETF2L in 5 years' time? Is it still going to be populated? Does Highlander overcome 6v6? Does Valve staff finally get over themselves and start recognising TF2 as a solid competitive discipline?
Well, Valve is not going to touch TF2. I think most people have realised that, after however many years it's been, they're just not going to go anywhere near it and they're going to focus other games. And I don't blame them, really, but I think ETF2L can survive for quite a long time because TF2 is such a long-lasting game. Its player base is always going to be quite big, I think. And because it's a community-driven league, I think there will always be people that are willing to step up and run it, and I think it can last quite a while.
Plus, Sonny Black's not going anywhere. Every time Sonny Black quits, he's back a week later, right?
Yeah. If he finally quits, maybe it can get bigger.
Sonny Black for life.
Valve will give us money if Sonny Black leaves.
Okay, let's see. What made you change your thought process regarding unlocks from only allow items in 6v6, blah 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 blah, to allowing a lot more weapons? Like this season we saw a lot more stuff coming in, or when in Season 18, the upcoming one. Is there anything that's led in that change, or is it all just Prem feedback again?
No, Prem were mostly just fine with the unlocks, because most of the unlocks that are in are the ones that are actually providing something beneficial to the meta or something additional, which is not harming it in any way. So they were mostly most of Prem didn't even want any more unlocks, but basically we just wanted more unlocks in the game because we feel not a lot of people, but quite a few people sort of ignore competitive because of the unlock whitelist. And if you just include these weapons, people might be more willing to give it a go, basically. There's no downside to doing it. People aren't going to quit because we allowed the home wrecker. So I don't see the reason why we wouldn't do it now.
I'm presuming this is some Highlander bollocks. Someone asked why was the NA team allowed in to Prem without any screenshots?
They provided some logs. They did have some
logs can be edited.
Logs. They can, so can screenshots.
But it requires a PhD in Photoshop to edit a screenshot.
Well, maybe they have one, I don't know. But yeah, they basically just have like a roster that's one of the best teams in America, and has proven America is usually quite a bit better Highlander than EU. So I thought, you know, there's no Div 1 team ready.
It'd be like Broda signing up for EACA and then getting put in like IM or something.
Yeah.
Like you kind of like I kind of get this. Like you were gonna get like told you're dumb either way. I mean,
I don't think people said I was dumb. It's just this question. I don't know who asked it.
Well,
but
people were gonna like question it either way. I mean, do they have like 2 points at the moment?
Yeah.
Which is honestly, it's better than some other teams have done in the past when they've been bottom of the division.
I don't think any of the teams in Div 1 would be doing significantly better than they are at the moment.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
That's just a guess. So I don't know.
Yeah, you were kind of. There was not an ideal solution to that problem, really. You never really know how they're going to play with the ping difference. And I think it was inconsequential at the end of the day. Like, none of the teams we've really PCW'd from Div 1 this season stand out as being, like, it's not like a shame that any of the Div 1 teams missed out on Prem, really. I don't think they would have done anything differently.
Yep.
Wouldn't have made any waves.
Okay.
Highlander's a new sport too.
I was thinking the whole way through going, I don't really know anything about Highlander. I'm just going to let this keep ticking over.
I have a legit question, by the way.
Okay.
Someone asked me, his name was Vasky, he said, can we have an option to add logs to a match page the same sort of way you can add scoreboard screenshots? I assume like he means like an actual function rather than just it sometimes getting pasted in like the comments like halfway down the page.
You probably could, like, obviously you could do it, but I don't see the point of it much because you can just like paste it in the comments and it's the same reason. Like, what do you get from integrating the logs into it? It
would look marginally better than it currently does.
It might be like slightly easy. You might not have to scroll down the match page, but that's about it, I think.
Maybe people would be more inclined to add logs to the match page if when they submitted the results there was a little convenient box to put it in and like a reminder.
Surely it would help Gentleman John do stats as well.
Maybe it would, yeah. But he seemed to do it pretty well without it, so...
Does it mean you should have to try so hard? Give him a break. Ips has... He first asked if kaidus and Permzilla could stop moving around so much. Stop moving around for a fucking second, it does my head in, wiggly wiggly. And then he follows with an actual question. I know that the buff banner was not allowed as an unlock because it directly counters for conch and therefore was considered overpowered, but isn't this exactly what we want to achieve with items, stuff that can counter each other and you can make strats with them?
Yeah, eventually, like, you want to have more unlocks and be able to do that, but last season people weren't, even at the moment, people aren't ready to adapt to allowing all these unlocks and weapons being good unless you're running a different weapon. Like, people aren't ready for that at the moment. I think a couple of seasons you add more unlocks eventually and people will eventually accept these new weapons.
So you want to kind of add slowly rather than just throw in like 50 new weapons at people?
We could have done that, but it wouldn't have gone well, so...
Okay. There's 2 more questions. One of them is from Lulu, who asks, what other hobbies do you have outside of gaming?
Well, I guess ETF2L, I guess, counts. Because I do actually play.
Sick hobby.
My favourite hobby is ETF2L.
It does count because I actually play as well, so it does count as a hobby. But I play musical instruments, you know, a bit of the drums. I could just see C6 cracking up.
My favourite hobby is ETF2L.
I didn't say it was my favourite. It's just the first that came to mind as we were talking about it.
Ips has a kind of follow-on to his previous question. So he says, so is the concept of adding unlocks forever just going to be adding the ones that don't affect anything, or are you going to think of adding the other ones that could actually, you could actually base a strategy around, you know? Those sort of bigger, more game-changing ones.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping to eventually get up to similar level to the ECA or whitelist, but it just takes us a while to get there because people don't want to accept weapons like the direct hit and stuff like that. People don't want to deal with that at the moment, and you know that's fine. But eventually, I do want to add more weapons in. Sorry.
Oh. Sorry, you don't have to apologise. You're the admin. Have you ever heard Sonny Black say sorry in his life?
Nope.
I played for a season with Sonny Black with him not killing the medic at any point. He didn't want to say sorry.
Shameful.
Sonny Black he's not even denying it. He knows it's true.
Look at the logs. I have the most medic kills in Div 1.
You also have the most kills, but it's just because you play. Our games just went on longer, Sonny. That's all it was. We took longer to come fourth than anyone else took to finish in any other position. That's all that happened. Okay, there's kind of a big question that's really come out. Wait, hold on. Okay, the big question that's come out is one eFug posted, is the one about the playoff schedule. eFug said, can we have the playoffs like a Zowie-style one-day cup kind of thing? And it's, I guess, the most interesting thing that's come out of this forum topic, as much as ETF2L being a hobby. But where are you? Have you talked about this since, you know, the previous one has been a bit of conversation? Has there been any discussion in the admin forums or whatever about this?
Ethog actually sent it to me in a PM quite a few weeks ago before he put it on the forums. And I think Sonny asked Prem along with the feedback. Is that right, Sonny?
Nope.
No.
No, I thought you told me you did. Okay. Well, I think we
might be seeing the reason why nothing gets done around here.
I think we asked a few people, because it was a bit late to do it for that season because we'd already announced it and stuff, so we asked a few people what they thought, and it didn't seem to go particularly well all in one day. People thought it was a bit much, like you could potentially play 3 games, like 9 maps, each with a golden cap or something like that. It'd be really, really long.
Taking the delays into account and stuff,
Yeah.
You would have to start at like 1 o'clock and you would end at like, I don't know, 11. And like you couldn't even find warm-ups, and even when the 4th place plays the 3rd place, the 2nd place probably wouldn't warm up with the 1st place because they might have to play each other later on.
What about if you moved it into, like, maybe not one day, but into like a tighter schedule rather than like, was it, I think 2 weeks or so? For playoffs this season, or for the season just gone?
It's 3 weeks because one for each game, but I don't think cramming them would make it any better. Like, it's already bad, the scheduling. I don't think giving them less time would help. Really.
But I think, was it kaidus who said one time that, but if it was set out at the beginning of the season, like, these are the play dates, make sure you can play in these dates, book them off work or whatever, like, would it not make it easier, you know, because the dates have been there in front of you for 2 months. There's not much excuse not to be ready for those dates.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't see how it's definitely feasible in this regard, because, I mean, Admirable made it happen, 8 teams all showing up. I mean, there was, like, 1 or 2 mercs out of 8 teams, really. I mean, like, Phoenix, or maybe one team that didn't get their spot confirmed in the Zowie Invitational didn't show up with a proper roster, but I think it was the team that only qualified, like, 3 days before it or something, which isn't going to be a problem for, like, playoffs. I think if you just communicate with the teams properly, and you actually, it's quite easy to achieve that. The only like legitimate argument against this, I think, would be for 1st and 2nd seed. There is no way they're going to get a warm up. Like 3rd place 4th at 2 p.m. and then 2nd place 3rd at, say, don't know, 5 p.m. Like, who the fuck's going to warm up 2nd place at 4 p.m? No one. Yeah, like, that's the only real problem with it. But even then, like, if my team was, say, 2nd seed, I would just find someone who's alright at the game, but never going to be in Prem. Like you, CommanderX, someone like you.
What?
And I would be like, yo, make a mix at this time on this day, please.
I'd be casting it.
Yeah, but you know,
I've got to improve on my 4th place from this season. You know?
Yeah, but I would just
move up the ranks.
I would just find some team or some player that was like my friend, and I'd be like, yo, make a mix, and we'll warm up against you, or something like this. Because I don't know, warm-ups are kind of overrated, really. Like, when teams say, we lost because we didn't have a warm-up, it's bullcrap. Like, as long as you're playing TF2 with your team, it doesn't really matter. Like, as long as it's vaguely competent, I think it'll be overcomeable. But, I don't know, I kind of like the idea of doing it on 2 days and having all the games on one day apart from the grand final, and having that on a day of its own. And then you kind of minimize that being a factor. But either way, even if you keep the exact same system now, you should definitely half the time frame. It's completely ridiculous. Like, you have like, I don't know, there can be almost 2 weeks between a playoff game. Like if the semi-final happens at the start of its allotted week, and then for grand final happens at the end, it's like a 2 week delay. Like people's excitement after watching like a good semi-final, people's excitement lasts about 2 days, and then it's like final comes around, they don't even remember that there was a semi-final. I think you really aren't capitalizing on the amount of like entertainment value you can achieve if you were just to limit the schedule a bit more. Like all these teams are available in this time frame. Like if you're in the grand final, it's not like you can only play one day in the next week. You're going to be playing every day to get ready for the grand final. You're going to use every day you can to prepare for it, because when you get to that level, there's no team that makes it to the grand final that isn't keen as fuck at the end of the day. So I don't see how you can not, like, at least half the time frame you need. Like instead of having 3 weeks, have like, you know, maybe 2 weeks tops. And even then, I think you could fit it into like 1.5 weeks, 1 week for the first 2 games, and then a second week just for the final.
Yeah, I think you could do that, but like, what days do you choose? Are they completely random? Like, do we just randomly choose Thursday or what?
But if you gave like I don't know, like a Sunday to a Thursday, just put it all within that Sunday to Thursday. You know, maybe restricted the first game to the first 2 days or something like that.
I think you just have to kind of play it by ear. Like, just talk to the teams and see what they can do. And as long as Hiss isn't in the playoffs again, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think that's it for questions. Was PMing me about time?
I have one more question quickly.
Oh wait, I have one more question as well. You go first, Kaidus.
Mine's better. Okay, I have an anonymous source here. Not anonymous source, but an anonymous person who wants to know something about the golden cap rule. He says,
is that person Sideshow?
No, it's an anonymous gamer.
I think it's
He
Sideshow.
says, please ask Perm on Fully Charged why they won't change the golden cap rule, even when it's obviously broken. I looked up some stats with Gentleman John. The average round time of a golden cap is over twice as long... just listen. The average round time of a golden cap is over twice as long as the average time of a normal round in officials, due to people playing slower and more stalematey because they're comfortable holding mid. 9% of golden caps are won by someone holding mid, which is a ridiculously high amount. And even if you take away the time limit completely and just make it win limit 1, we worked out only 1.2% of golden caps would run longer than 15 minutes, which is almost exactly 1 golden cap per season. And only 0.3% of golden caps would run longer than 20 minutes, 1 in every 4 seasons. No reason not to remove time limit, every reason to remove. Permzilla is killing EU TF2.
Wow, I thought my question was going to be a little bit harsh, but wow.
I agree.
Well, that is Sideshow's question, so he can he has the power to, you know, talk to it with other admins and discuss it, and you know.
This ties in quite nicely to my question then. Sam says he thinks that basically the ETF2L admin team is just you and Sonny Black making decisions and pretending to care about other people's input. No, we over, like, the more important decisions, we have like a bigger say, of course. Like, we're in charge of like the whole thing. That's how it works. But most things, everything, everyone has a say on it. It's just like the little things, well, everyone has a say on like unlocks and everything. Like, we didn't have any much more of a say than any regular admin. It's like,
what do you have to say about the fact that only 1 golden cap per season in the current rule set, where just like, because you have to keep in mind that when if the rule was changed, where the golden cap lasts as long as it has to last, the amount of games that actually last this long would be reduced, because like there's no point. There's no point to fuck around. You wouldn't bother holding mid. You would push. So these rounds aren't going to go on as long as they currently do, and even then, only 1 a season is actually, like, you know, I can't remember what the hell I read, but it was convincing. God damn it, change it. Right?
It sounds convincing, yeah, but
just change it. Just try it. Just try it.
Maybe.
It's definitely correct, and this way you can...
We'll talk about it. We'll see.
Okay, one more like really short question. Are there going to be playoffs for Div 1 this season from last season, like the Div 2 teams?
For Div 1.
Depends on the sign-up.
For Div 1. Depends on the sign-ups. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to team talk now before War spams me more about time management or some bollocks.
Maybe War
Okay.
should get on here and do it himself rather than saying he can't be here and then watching and criticizing the whole way.
Shots fired. Okay, let's go. Epsilon Reform is the first one. So we talked about this a bit last episode. Kyler and WARHURYEAH are the main demos for the missing Stefan and Numlocked, who won't be participating.
Kyler is the mainest demo I've ever seen.
You know what? Everyone knows what I mean. But yeah, I think they played tonight. Was tonight the first time they played? Kaidus, you played against them.
Yeah, I think they only played against us 2 maps, so I think they're a legitimate Epsilon squad because they have the most piss poor organization I've ever seen in a TF2 team, so I think they're going to be really good. Like, they only played 1 day this week and couldn't even manage to get 2 games for it, so that's pretty classic Epsilon, really. Oh, and they were 20 minutes late, and we had to cut the game short. But they were pretty good. It was their first night, and one of our first nights. They won.
Yeah, I watched War's stream. I saw
it's
Kyler wrecking kids.
It was pretty much classic Epsilon all over. They look pretty good.
Okay.
Not that good. Pretty good.
Okay. War, are you here to... Oh no, he's not here to comment. He's just joined the channel. What a weirdo. Okay. So I guess the biggest news in the last week is the folding of Dota.
You're welcome, Scene.
Kaidus, your plan came to fruition.
Uh-huh.
I don't know too much about it. I don't know if anyone here has more insight on... Was it just not working?
It definitely wasn't working. They had 4 scouts rotating because Bevan was barely available, and then their backup scout was barely available, or Walters was barely available, or something like that. Basically, they had to use 4 scouts, rotating on and off, which was horrendous. It took them Knutson moved from Roma to Medic, which he was doing okay to be fair, but when you have to do that, it kind of spells out that there's a bit of a desperation going on. And then I think when they announced there was no rental PCs for LAN, it kind of just broke them.
Really sealed the deal.
Yeah, it kind of just broke them because it's how the fuck are we going to do this? Because if you can't compete, you're not going to get... there's not really orgs left in TF2 apart from Epsilon, but for I-52 it is a realistic possibility to find an org to give you some PCs. You might not get...
is that what TCM did for Broda last LAN?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're not going to get funding as per se, but you can get... these orgs have PCs knocking around in their shed that they can just lend you in exchange for the advertisement. But to get them, you have to actually compete and make a good representation of that org, and Dota were not a team that was going to be in a position to do that. So I think they just basically realized it was time to call it quits before it was too late for the players to go and do other things, I think. I mean, I don't know. This is just my perception of it.
Okay, I guess the biggest knock-on effect of this folding is obviously a lot of these players now become available again, which obviously benefits a certain demo man of the season. And I believe, obviously, go away, War. As I understand, nothing's confirmed or anything yet, but I know Zebasai and Nuts played with you tonight.
Everything's confirmed.
Everything's confirmed?
Yeah, we're playing with the roster we've played through this week.
So, just to confirm that for everyone on stream, it's going to be Merlin on Medic, Kaidus on Demo, Zebasai on Pocket, Nutson on Roma, and Stark and Flip on Scout, and Rising on Backup. Rising on Backup.
Thalash knocking around somewhere between roster riding and backup as well.
All the glory. Yeah? So, are you happy going forward? Is this always going to be a team that's going to compete at I-52? Is that the main aim? Is that the final goal?
Yeah, that's the plan.
And everyone's
didn't bother asking half of them if they're up for doing LAN, but they're doing LAN or they're getting cut, so it's fine.
No pressure. I'm ready to step in.
To be honest, I think it was pretty obvious that this team would be geared up toward LAN, and maybe I forgot to specifically say to Flip LAN, but you'd have to be pretty dense not to at least consider that it was.
It's not that hard to get over from France anyway. It's not the biggest thing. There'll be other friends. I'm presuming more Somniacs will probably come in some form or another, so you can probably catch a lift or fly over with someone.
Yeah.
Maybe someone who speaks a word of English to help him get through the transport.
Nah, Flip's okay. Flip can speak. He's just quite a quiet guy in general.
Oh, okay.
He speaks basic English, fine though.
Oh, that's enough. We mentioned it earlier, but Somniacs are taking a break from this season due to exams. It's unknown whether or not they'll come back for I-52, but I imagine they will. I imagine they won't miss a chance like that. They do like to go to LAN. The other news is in Fenix. I've got written down here, Droso is in, I don't know. I think it's Sheepy's out, Drosso's in, and Cyclist is out, and they're looking for a new demo man, trialing WARHURYEAH and Hiss. Any comments? Anybody? Admin team?
Well, I think Sheepy left because he didn't want to play anymore. But
as in with TF2 kind of angle.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think Cyclist was removed from the team.
He was kicked.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a bit gossip
since you're here, have you trialed for them yet?
Yes.
How did it go?
Went alright.
How did it go in comparison to your trial for Epsilon today?
Well, we played against kaidus' team, and it was alright. Everything's a little bit messy. Comms are a bit messy, but they're decent. They're a good team. I really thought that the weakest point was the Doman because I don't know. I merked for them last season, like one game, and if that one game is anything to go by, like that team, well, they're like Cyclist just didn't speak on middle or any part of the game, and when your Doman doesn't say what he's doing, it's quite a big part. So they were all right last season. They weren't anything spectacular, but I think they've got potential.
You're not going to give away which side are you favouring towards now then, if you had to pick one? No?
I think it's relatively obvious which one I would choose.
Oh,
It's
like
Hiss cool, but
Hiss is going to have to join Epsilon then.
Yeah, I have to keep TF2 alive. If I join Epsilon, it's unfair.
How humble. Okay, let's move on. This is a bit about, I guess, the TLR fold is mentioned here. Just basically, Rake and Cowho are still homeless. Hiss as well. Lack of homes, but I don't know if there's any news about a new team maybe forming out of that. Obviously, now kaidus' roster is confirmed. There's no more trials there. Do you think we're going to see another team emerge from the rubble?
What of who?
Of just like, like the players who are left over, like Rake, Cowho, Hiss, a couple of other from maybe Dota. Do you think you're going to see anything? Or
the only thing I've heard, Rake is pretty much done. I think he was debating whether to play anyway, even if he got like a legit offer. And I don't think he will get a legit offer now because I think Epsilon are the only team with a hope of playoffs that don't have a scout 100% confirmed. One thing I did hear is that Bevan might trial for Epsilon now because they asked him. Ages ago when he was locked into Dota, they asked him, and obviously he said no. Obviously, I don't know. Epsilon, I don't really know what the hell they're doing. I don't know if I keep hearing like different versions from different people, all of which are in and around the Epsilon circle. I hear they're trialing, I hear they're not trialing, I hear they're going to try people, and then if it works, they keep them. If not, then they don't trial.
It was because of how they thought their season was starting relatively quickly, sooner than they expected. I think because of sign-ups. And obviously you got the date when sign-up starts closed, they were sort of a bit rushed and thought they didn't have as much time as they actually do. Because it did turn out that last week they were just going to choose their players, but now they've realised that they've got more time. They're going to trial the players.
Yeah, so I guess maybe they'll try Bevan. I'm not sure though. I was under the impression Bevan couldn't play that much, but I don't know.
Just want to jump back for a second. Ips just, I guess, I don't know if he's just trying to stir the pot or whatever, but he just goes, did Nuts and Zebaside come as a package deal? I guess it's his phrasing, or was it just both individual choices?
No, I mean, there's obviously a link there. Like, when the whole Dota thing happened, he asked, would you consider trialing Knudsen? And I said, obviously that meant Stark, because Stark was originally going to roam. I think he proposed it because he thought Stark was stronger on Scout and a better Scout candidate than anyone else we were likely to get, which was something I agreed with. And I said, I'm not sure about Knudsen based on watching him. I don't know. So I'm happy to try playing with him. And then we played with him and it was good. I like him. He has some things to improve on in his game still, but he's a misjudged player, at least by me, because I always had him pegged as this guy that was just not really giving a fuck. I remember in QN when he had a really weird schedule and he would only play the first PCW every night and then piss off. So I had this impression of him as someone who wasn't really that interested, but I got a really, really good impression of him. So I was happy to take him. I don't know what, maybe Zeb wouldn't have been as happy to join if Knudsen wasn't there, but it definitely was never a case of I'm only going to play if Knudsen plays. all he asked was that we'd give him a chance, basically, and we gave him a chance, and there we go.
I have to kind of echo what you said. Like at the end of last season, I was kind of quite harsh on Nutson when we were casting the games. What he looked like, not quite as far as a weak link, but certainly towards that end. But like I saw him play tonight when you guys played Epsilon, and he actually looked like a player who could compete. Like he was given, like obviously I was on Warstream, so I had the Epsilon comms, and Raymond was kind of complaining that Nutson was the only one killing him. We did like high bombs on mid that Epsilon couldn't cope with, stuff like that. Like he was actually contributing, not just along for the ride. Whereas when he was playing with Dota, it looked a lot more like he was kind of along for the ride. Whereas now he looks more like a legitimate player.
Yeah, and he played a really good game in Dota's playoff game as well at the end of last season. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If we trialed the Nutson that played at the start of last season, my roster would probably look different to how it does now. But he's had a season to get back into the swing of things, adapt to gunboats, and all this sort of thing. And he's probably he's a really easy guy to play with. Like he comms a lot. His mic's weirdly loud, which is kind of nice because when he says he's going, everyone on the fucking earth knows it. But that's cool. And he's I can't knock him basically. Seems like a really good guy to have around, and with a lot of potential to improve.
Okay, we're moving towards the end right now. Basically, I think Hildrift's a few kind of last bits of gossip from Prem scene. I think Hildrift's Highland team is still going, maybe going to be sort of Prem candidates, playoff candidates to get into Prem or something like that. As far as I'm aware, they're still unchanged from when we last discussed. 425 going into Prem. They're unchanged from last season. However, Kenzie can't play full time, but they don't want to kick Kenzie because they're all friends and they all got here together as friends.
And he carries them on half the maps.
And he is very good at the game. I think, let me give a chat log up. Dika said to me, because I think they're going to get someone off-classing to cover him. So he said, they don't want to pick up any big scouts. Instead of Kenzie, we want to play as friends and have a good time during the season. 6 seasons ago, I could not even dreamt about playing in the Prem Division. Achievement completed.
So it's another Lego, then. We're here because we're friends, guys, but we're still going to get smashed.
Yeah, except we get to watch Kenzie snipe. That'll be fun.
Although, it does sound quite strange that somebody puts Prem up to that level in their standards, which is quite nice. At least it's good to know that he cares.
It's nice that they're having a nice time.
Yeah.
It's like even if they're losing, they're having a nice time. The other end of it is the GG well played, the other Russian teams who White Glow has left, and they are replacing us. White Glow's quit. Yeah.
When was that?
Today
recently,
or yesterday?
Yeah.
He doesn't
Forsaken
want to
told
play
me today.
anymore.
Yeah. And also they're replacing a scout because I think Unhuman has to go join. Not has to, but I think he's going to join the army. So Unhuman's gone to join the army, so they're currently looking for scouts. And White Glow has left as medics, so they're currently looking for medics. And the lowdown from Forsaken's point of view is there's 3 options. Option A, they get in Duff from We Don't Care, if you remember that team. They've been a load of one, that medic. Option B, Forsaken goes medic, and they bring another soldier.
But
They
who's
don't know.
Ordinator? I saw him specking them the other day.
Maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of history there. And then option C is they go international again, but the knock-on effect of them going international is GDK will refuse to play. Well, not refuse to play, but he doesn't want to play. He wants to play in a Russian-speaking team, so GDK would most likely leave. So
it's happening again.
That's the situation.
Just like classic Russian thing. Get to Prem, fold, get to Prem,
And
fold,
I thought
get to
MSH
Prem,
had a stable
fold.
team for once. Seems not.
MSH, oh yeah, MSH is still in that team.
Yeah,
Right.
it's Unhuman who's joined the army.
Huh. Oh, that's a shame, but
It's a shame. I mean, I guess it will maybe give an opportunity for some Russian players. I think, from what I told, also the number 1 potential for the scout spot is Atomic.
yeah, they've been playing with him.
Remember that Latvian soldier? I don't know what his scouts like.
He's he's pretty good. Really good DM.
Okay.
So he has that, but not really much apart from that.
Didn't
Okay.
really know. We've played them 4 maps over the last few days. Can't say I really felt him having that much of an impact, but I also think kind of fresh off the back of a pretty lengthy break, so it would probably have been a weird game for him to slot into, especially if White Glow was, I don't know, kind of done and tired of the game and not really wanting to be there.
I can't remember. Did Forsaken mention to you who the soldier would be?
No, but
feel like he has.
there was recommendations of Quick. If Forsaken did have to go medic.
Hasn't Quick been playing in Connor's new team? I've seen him playing with them recently.
Yeah, but come on, let's be honest.
So he'll be unavailable until
with.
week 2 of the season, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, he's not mentioned anything to me, but I imagine Quick would be, I guess, a good choice, an obvious choice. He's been in and around that time, that kind of part of the scene for a long time. He's got good aim. I don't know how, like, how well him and Forsaken and the others get on. Like, I remember the old kind of, what were they called? Last man standing team. I already had like a few players they had kind of, not quite blacklisted, but players they really didn't want to play with. I think Empty was one of them. A couple of others like that, like players they just thought were idiots. I'm not saying they think that about him, don't quote me on that, but I don't know if he falls into that category or not. I know they can be quite, not quite elitist, but quite particular about who they play with. No insight, no add-ons to that.
Yeah, they are a bit like that. I played for them like one season as Soldier, and it was very like whenever we needed a Burke, and I sort of suggested them, that they would just be like, "No, I'm not playing with him. Not that dickhead."
I can imagine that being said in a Russian accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly those words.
Biletsuka and all that lot.
So yeah, if you're a Russian up and coming player, there's a lot of opportunity for you. I think. Oh wait, I think I remember who it was. I think he said whoever the soldier who was in We Don't Care with Shadowburn, whoever that was. I think maybe I don't know who the soldier was. All the Russian soldiers blur into one soldier for me, except for Shadowburn.
If they do fold, it'd be interesting who takes Shadowburn, because that dude is pretty sick at this game.
Rest in peace, Mike. Mike's going to get benched from Epsilon. Shadowburn's making a step up.
Yeah. Well, he is like on another level on that team. So it'd be interesting on what happens. I hope he carries on and he finds a good team, because that dude is going to be good.
Yeah, I think that covers any team news, unless anyone can think of anything they've missed, anything they've heard that has not been covered. Wait,
Dr. Phil and Natural switched classes in Lego.
Oh wow. Okay.
I don't know if that's even interesting anymore.
That's well, they won now, aren't they? Right? They
well,
lost
not
the playoff.
necessarily.
They might get re-promoted, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in theory they can go back in Prem because
I don't think they want to go back to Prem.
Oh, okay. There's more teams folding than are being made, so we're probably going to see Hildred from Prem again.
Whoop whoop.
Or something like that.
I have a question, just not really linked to anything, but what's Sam doing? Samsy, what's he doing?
He's one of 12,000 scouts that have been offered an EPSI trial, so...
Okay, there's no other plans, no backup plans.
He will only join a team if he gets a legit offer, basically.
Doesn't seem to be many legit offers, unless he wants to learn Russian.
I'm not sure I'd even call that a legit offer if they're, if they're having to put Forsaken on medic or something like this.
Oh well, I'm done for gossip then, unless anyone else has anything hidden up their sleeve.
But someone should make teams, really. Like, there is... I also heard that Brago was maybe trialing for someone. I don't know who. But they have.
I imagine Fenix. Fenix needed demos. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess probably it is. But I don't know. There's easily enough players to make another team. Like
Samsy,
easily.
Cowho, Rake. Well, not Rake, but Hiss. People like that.
But yeah, like Sam Wowers on Salt. That'd be a pretty good combo.
I think the problem is, I was like saying on TFTV, that there's a lack of like leaders with ambition. Like, you have all these, if you put like loads of these players together, there isn't really anybody that's going to keep them together. You need some sort of like, I think an example is TCM last season, where we had like a group of people that if we didn't have Bite in our team, we would have folded, because he's the one that sort of keeps it all together, sort of thing. And I think there's a lack of those players that will sort of bring these group of people to play. Without that, you won't have many Team Fortress teams.
What a note.
Really that hard though. Like, all it requires is just, like, for most people, is like finding games and saying push every now and then.
Yeah, I guess.
Push every
Oh, like, it is like no one's asking them to make the next Epsilon. They just got to make a team like with the way Prem is this season. You throw like pick the best 6 people on the recruitment section. Like I don't know, fuck it, like Brago, Walters, Sam, Nadia on Rome again, Yang Pai on Pocket, or
Cowho or something.
fucking yeah. Like you can just throw 6 players together, and like all you have to say is push, don't push, and there'll be a team that can play at the end of the day. And then to keep it going, you just need someone to find games. Like it's not gonna be great, but there seems to be people that want to play. Like it should be easy for one of these people. Like they actually, obviously some of these people probably like that first they'll play if they get a good offer, and not if they don't. But some people really want to play, and it's really not that hard to just step up and just make it happen. Really,
like loads of people want to play, but no one can bother to make the team.
It's a weird kind of like trying but not trying kind of balance. I don't know. It's odd. One more quick question: are Saints like Sonny Black? Permzilla, you might have more insight on this. Like Saints are reformed. Is that what they want? They want Div 1.
Yeah.
Or they don't want any higher.
They want more than Div 1.
Yeah.
It's going to be like last season when they won Div Prem and they got in Div 1 and then they complained and then they folded.
Yeah, but now there's actually like no teams in Prem, so they might end up in it. If they fail this time, then I think that's the end. No reform at all.
Just came into my head. Okay, I think we're done for everything. Unless anyone has any final words, any final shout-outs, anyone?
No, that's good.
Permzilla, Sonny Black, anything?
Shout out to Sam and Nips, as always.
The German circle jerk continues. Alright guys, thank you for joining us for Fully Charged. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining us all. I had a good time. See ya.